Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today I am really excited to be talking about two fragrances. Both these fragrances I've been most eager to try. They both contain a strong note of honey, yet both are very, very different. So as you can see, the first fragrance we're going to talk about is Bee by Zoologist. And this is my little sample. And the second fragrance we're going to talk about after this one, of course, will be Gaia by Centauri Fragrances. A few weeks ago, the lovely Claire at Smurfy Girly reached out to me on one of her lives and asked me if I wanted to try out Bee from Zoologist. She was kind enough to send me this sample of Bee along with a few other samples as well, which I didn't know I was getting. And so that was a really lovely thing to receive, and it was very generous of her indeed. So thank you so much, Claire, for doing that. That was really sweet of you. And I'm sure most fragrance lovers have heard of the house of Zoologist, but in case you haven't, Zoologist is a very unique perfume house that create fragrances that mimic the environment of an animal. Choose notes that would have come from the animal's environment in a really, really unique and clever little way. The presentation for the Zoologist bottles are absolutely beautiful. I love the images on the front of the bottles. They have each different animal dressed up in a very kind of human clothing, but it's done so grandly and so just exquisitely, and the bottles themselves are just beautiful, and they come in a case that looks a bit like a book that opens up. And I've always wanted to own a Zoologist fragrance, but I haven't yet come across one that is just right for me. I've sampled about maybe 6 others in the line, including ones like Elephant and Dragonfly and Nightingale, and they all have such a beautiful identity, but unfortunately so far I've not found one that I feel I can personally wear that suits me. And also, interestingly, I have got 3 more on the way that I haven't yet tried. I've got Moth, and I've got Chameleon, and also Dodo, so that's going to be really interesting, and I can by all means do a review on those should you wish me to. But obviously today we're talking about Bee. Now, as you would expect, Bee is a honey-based fragrance, but disclaimer, it doesn't actually contain honey. So I found that out looking on the Zoologist website because I wanted to just check exactly what was going on. I didn't want to rely too much on Fragrantica, so I thought I'd double check all the notes on the proper website. And it doesn't actually contain honey. All these notes that have been put together do give you the most exquisitely rich honey fragrance. So the notes in Bee are as follows. We've got top notes of orange, ginger syrup and royal jelly accord. Middle notes of broom, heliotrope, mimosa and orange flower. And base notes of benzoin, labdanum, musks, sandalwood, tonka and vanilla. Looking at all those little notes on Fragrantica and the little images and having them all boxed together visually, that it does smell exactly as you would expect it. But also it smells like nothing else I've ever tried before. On first spraying, you literally get hit in the face like a force of nature with this fragrance. It is rich, it's bold, it's thick, and it's really, really, really gooey. This sweet, waxy, resinous honey is like syrup. It is so thick, and you can imagine it being gloopy, you know, it's got that kind of thing going on. Interestingly, beeswax isn't a note, but it does contain beeswax as an ingredient. There is a very authentic waxy honey scent. There's a really lovely sweetness in this honey, and it's not like a sugar cube, white sugar kind of a sweetness. This is like a muscovado, like that, you know, that brown sugar. I get that kind of a sweetness, and you also get like a zinginess, which I think is coming from the ginger. So aside from the sweetness in this honey pot, there's also some really lovely florals. And I think the florals really help it soften out. I think without the florals, you'd have a very hard, hard honey fragrance. I think the florals are doing really what they should do, which is to soften it out and make it really pretty. And they balance the honey really, really beautifully. As this develops, I get such a strong scent of chocolate. Now, there's no chocolate listed in this. There's things like tonka bean and vanilla. But I get this lovely chocolatey kind of thing happening. And I think Claire did once mention on a live that she said it reminded her of the crunchy bars. I'm sure she said that, and she's absolutely right. It really does. I don't know if you know what a crunchy bar is. Here in the UK, we've got this honeycomb scented chocolate bar, and if you break it open, you get this lovely honeycomb, this sweet honeycomb candy centre with this thin layer of milk chocolate around it, and this really does develop into that kind of a scent. It doesn't develop too much more after that. I still detect the ginger keeping quite a sort of a sharp zinginess all the way through. But it just tends to soften out as it dries down. It has amazing longevity. This is a full day of smelling like bee. I don't think you would need to reapply this. It is a bombastic honey fragrance. And if you don't like honey, then just steer clear, because this is definitely not for you. For me personally, I find it slightly too loud for me. It's just a little bit too strong. It's a little bit overpowering for my taste personally. So I don't think I'll be purchasing B. So I still haven't had any success, unfortunately, in finding a Zoologist that suits me. But I do appreciate this fragrance, and I do think it is very unique. And it's a beautiful representation of a bee and its environment. So those are my thoughts and feelings on bee. So moving right along, let's talk about Gaia from Centauri Parfums. I was the lucky winner for the giveaway on Lola Scent's channel. So Lola was doing a lovely little giveaway when she was talking about Gaia, and I was the lucky winner, and I was extremely excited, and I'm so happy, and I'm so thankful to Lola for doing the giveaway. I've never won anything, I really haven't, and so winning this little sample of Gaia was so extremely exciting. And with the Gaia sample, she sent me a packet of goodies, so that's always lovely, along with a bottle of Gaia, and put it in a little decant for me, so I've got extra as a top up, so that's fantastic. And she also included a sample of Dendera, which was the first offering in the Centauri line, and I'm so excited to get that one because I hadn't yet tried it. I'm just super grateful, so thank you so much, Lola. So the House of Centauri Parfums was of course created by Peter Carter, the very talented Peter Carter, who has his own channel here on YouTube called The Fragrance View. I really enjoy watching all of his videos. He has a really authentic, honest approach to perfumery, which just makes him genuine and respected. He's created 3 fragrances so far in his fragrance house, and Gaia was the second offering. So Gaia is said to be inspired by the goddess Mother Earth. The notes are green leaves, dry earth, honey, tuberose, rose, lavender, orris butter, apple, cedarwood, wormwood, patchouli and ambergris. So all those notes are giving you the idea that this is going to be an outdoorsy and very green fragrance, and when you first spray this fragrance, it just completely takes you there. It takes you outside, and you can smell all the vegetation, the leaves, the minerals, and all the life that lives in that woodland. Each note smells authentic and natural, making this into a fragrance that I call transportive. And it's very unique. It's definitely a unique fragrance, but it does give a nod to a fragrance that I have experienced once before by Docita, and that was called Erawan. And like Docita's Erawan, this fragrance really makes you feel that you've been transported outdoors, and you're smelling real earth and real leaves and real flowers. In the opening, it's the honey and the wormwood and the green leaves that I think get you first. That's the first thing that hits me. Wormwood I'm not too familiar with. It's quite musky, like a musky, dry, green scent. And there's a honey. The honey is nothing like the first fragrance, the bee. This isn't a sweet gourmand honey. This is a very light, smooth, very slightly sweet honey. And there's no real added sweetness. It's just very natural. There's a really rich sort of buttery thing going on, which I think is the orris butter. I wouldn't know an apple was there unless I was reading it, and now I know it's apple. There is a very sharp, slight sharp tang that's giving it just another layer, I guess. There's definitely a really dry element running through this scent. I don't pick up on any tuberose, which I'm quite pleased about because it's not my favourite note, to be honest. And again, the lavender is doing its job somewhere, but it's not a strong note either. I do really enjoy orris butter. It's got a similar effect to ambergris, and it's got that kind of sickly, sweet, salty thing going on. I find that quite addictive, and that gives it quite a plumpness, which is a really weird thing to say. But there's this soft plumpness where all this cool green dry grass is sort of sitting on top, kind of softens down, and eventually you get to this kind of soft ambergris, patchouli. It's not strong patchouli, but it stays quite dry all the way through. The sweetness of the honey sort of drifts away a little bit, and you're left with a more dry green or grassy green element. A transportive fragrance, if you like a natural, almost mossy, grassy very authentic kind of smell. This is something that you have to check out. It is extremely beautiful. It is not for me personally, it's not a perfume. It's not something I would wear to smell pretty, you know, or fun, or in the conventional sense of wearing a perfume. This is something you wear on a special day when you really want to feel connected to the earth. You're going outside, you want to enhance that kind of feeling. And it's done beautifully, and it really takes a certain talented nose to create something like this. It has to be passionate about the earth. They have to be passionate about all the ingredients, and Peter Carter has such a passion and admiration and respect for our earth, to our planet, and to the histories of our planet, and actually to the future of our planet. And that very much depicts the 3 fragrances he made. Each one represents, the first one represented the past, Gaia is very much about the present, and then the third fragrance that he has designed is called Proxima, and that is very much designed to depict the future. I briefly have sampled Dendera. This one, again, it's another transportive fragrance, and I think you'd have to have travelled to really be able to create a fragrance like this. And Peter does a lot of travelling. He's sampled real materials from different places, and this fragrance, I've never been to Egypt, but I can imagine sitting in a temple in the past in Egypt where they're smoking strange tobaccos and there's spices in the air and it's hot and it's dusty, and I don't know, there's something fruity in here as well. But this is a really, really beautiful fragrance. I hope you've enjoyed my reviews. I tried to keep it as short as possible, but I do waffle, as I'm sure you all know by now. I've got my Elder Wand pen in the background. I'm such a Harry Potter fan. I'm so sad. I've been writing all my notes with this, and it's, yeah, let's just get rid of that. That is all. I hope you've enjoyed my review on Bee and Gaia. I hope they've been useful. I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and I hope to see you all again on the next one. Take care now. Bye.